parents were very abusive to each other, and my stepmom was also very abusive to my sister and I as well. Physical, mental, emotional, all of it. But from those two was physical. Well, I mean, it was all the abuse.
The industry woke up shaking this morning because what was whispered behind closed doors finally detonated in public. And nobody was ready for the fallout. One name trended for hours straight. Another vanished from social media entirely. And at the center of it all stood Toni Braxton, trembling, tear-streaked, reportedly collapsing behind the scenes after a revelation that sliced straight through the heart of her family. Sources say this wasn't just shocking, it was soul-crushing. Because the truth didn't come from a rival, a blogger, or an enemy. It came from inside the bloodline, late last night. A clip allegedly surfaced and spread like wildfire. One confirmation sentence replayed on loop, sending fans into a frenzy and forcing phones to ring across the Braxton circle. Ashley Braxton, Birdman, together. Not rumored. Not implied, confirmed. And insiders swear the moment Toni heard those words out loud, everything changed. We're talking sobbing. We're talking shattered glass. We're talking a silence so heavy it scared everyone in the room. But here's where it gets darker. This wasn't just about dating. This was about timing. About secrets kept too long. About private warnings that went ignored. About text messages Toni allegedly sent months ago that suddenly read like prophecies. And when those messages started leaking, fans realized this story wasn't accidental. It was explosive by design. Family group chats reportedly blew up. Voices were raised. Accusations flew. One source claims a private phone call ended.
Okay, I gotta call you back. I'm about to have Bible study.
Why?
Because I'm saved. And I read the word. Because it's important to know the word. How else we gonna battle all these demons and witchcraft? How else you gonna...
Call ended with a scream so loud it was heard through the walls. And just when everyone thought the damage was done, a second leak hinted that Toni knew more than she ever admitted. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was personal. And the worst part, the full truth hadn't even surfaced yet. By the time dawn broke, the damage was already irreversible. Phones were vibrating nonstop, managers were scrambling. And inside a quiet room that insiders swear felt like a funeral. Toni Braxton was reportedly breaking down in tears after hearing the words she never imagined would be spoken out loud. Ashley confirmed it. Not a rumor. Not speculation. A confirmation so blunt it cut through years of silence like glass. Ashley Braxton was dating Birdman. The same Birdman whose name has been permanently stitched into Toni's most complicated chapter. And the moment that confirmation hit, everything unraveled. Sources close to the family say Toni didn't scream at first. She went quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that scares people. One insider claims she sat frozen, staring at her phone, rereading the same leaked message over and over as if the words might rearrange themselves into something less painful. They didn't. The message was simple, devastating, and allegedly sent from Ashley herself to a mutual family contact. I'm not hiding anymore. Yes, it's real. That single line detonated decades of unspoken tension and reopened wounds the family pretended had healed. Within minutes, screenshots began circulating. A private FaceTime call abruptly ended. A family group chat exploded into chaos. Tamar allegedly sent one message and then left the chat entirely. Tawanda stopped responding. Trina posted a cryptic broken heart emoji and deleted it seconds later. Fans noticed Toni unfollowed multiple accounts in rapid succession, and that's when the speculation turned into panic. Something serious was happening behind the scenes. The family wasn't controlling the narrative anymore. Then came the alleged voice note. A raw, shaky recording that insiders swear was Toni's, sent to a confidant late at night. Her voice cracked as she repeated one phrase over and over. Not like this. Not from her. According to those who heard it, she sounded blindsided, betrayed, and emotionally gutted. This wasn't about Birdman alone. This was about boundaries that were never supposed to be crossed. This was about blood. What made it worse was the timing. Sources claim Toni had recently confided that she was finally at peace with her past. Finally letting go of the emotional chaos surrounding Birdman. Friends say she believed that chapter was closed, sealed, and buried. And then Ashley's confirmation ripped it wide open in the most public way possible. The industry didn't just watch. It froze. Insiders also allege
A series of unfortunate events in the Braxton family lately.
What we were told is you didn't want to film with us.
Well, you already know why I want to film with y'all.
Wait a minute, hold on.
My niece Ashley, who we love very much, posted her videos on social media with some accusations about her family.
Insiders also allege that Toni had warned Ashley months earlier. Not aggressively, not controlling, but cautiously. A quiet conversation behind closed doors where Toni reportedly said Birdman wasn't someone to trust. That history matters and that family lines should never blur like that. At the time, Ashley allegedly brushed it off, insisting it was harmless, insisting there was nothing serious going on. That's what makes the...
My heart was aching. It was like I had had every test done. I had the echo done. I had the EKG. I had blood work done. And I went to get the angio. And the doctor was like, no, that's your pre-op. I said, what do you mean my pre-op? No, you having surgery. You got to look inside your heart.
The confirmation hit harder. Because now, those warnings feel ignored. Disrespected, dismissed, and then the leaks escalated. Alleged text messages surfaced.
Makes me feel guilty for leaving my family alone because they're toxic.
Showing Birdman reaching out late at night using familiar language that made fans uncomfortable. Phrases that sounded intimate, familiar, almost rehearsed. One message reportedly read, "You already know how this ends, but I don't care." Another simply said, "She'll understand eventually." That line alone sent fans spiraling. Who was she? And why did he sound so sure? Social media went nuclear. Twitter turned into a battlefield of divided loyalties. Some accused Ashley of betrayal. Others dragged Birdman for recklessness. A smaller but louder group blamed Toni, claiming she didn't own Birdman and couldn't dictate anyone's love life. But those close to the family say that argument misses the point entirely. This wasn't about permission. This was about respect out behind the scenes. The emotional toll reportedly hit Toni hard. One source claims she had to step away from a scheduled meeting because she couldn't stop crying. Another alleges she locked herself in a room for hours, refusing calls, refusing to speak, replaying old memories she thought she'd buried. Memories of trust given too freely, of loyalty assumed, of family bonds she believed were unbreakable. Meanwhile, Ashley's camp stayed eerily quiet. No apology. No clarification. No denial. Just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. Fans noticed Birdman didn't immediately deny anything either. Instead, he posted a vague quote about living in truth and deleted it within minutes. That single post was enough to confirm what everyone feared. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was real. What truly shook insiders, though, was the reported confrontation. Sources claim a tense phone call took place late that night. Voices were raised. Tears were shed. At one point, Toni allegedly asked a question that stopped the conversation cold. How long? There was a pause. A long one. And then an answer that changed everything. Because, according to those familiar with the call, the timeline didn't match the public narrative at all. That's when the realization hit. This wasn't new. This had been building quietly, deliberately, right under everyone's nose. And if that's true, then the betrayal runs deeper than anyone imagined. Because it means smiles were forced. Family gatherings were staged. And trust was broken long before the confirmation ever reached the public. As the night ended, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't just a scandal. It was a fracture. A crack in the foundation of a family already scarred by silence and survival. And with more messages rumored to exist, more recordings whispered about, and more truths threatening to surface. This story was nowhere near finished, because if this confirmation broke Toni the way insiders claim it did, the next revelation might shatter what's left beyond repair, This isn't just gossip. This is a moment that's changing everything for the Braxton family, and it's happening right before our eyes. You've seen the texts, the voice notes, the confrontations, and the emotional fallout tanned. It's only getting hotter. The question now is, how will this family survive the storm? How far will the secrets go? You cannot afford to miss the next wave of revelations. Every like, every comment, every share fuels the conversation and keeps the story alive. We need your voice in this chaos, your theories, your takes, your outrage. Who do you side with? Toni, Ashley, or Birdman? Or do you see the bigger picture? A family torn apart by lies, betrayal, and unspoken pain. Hit that subscribe button because we're diving deeper than anyone else, bringing you every leaked message, every shocking confession, and every explosive reaction. Comment below with your hot takes, share your insights, and let the world know how you really feel. This is more than entertainment. It's a front row seat to a family unraveling in real time. And missing it is not an option. The story is far from over, and you want to be here when the next bombshell drops. Like, comment, and subscribe now. Because the truth waits for no one, and the next revelation could change everything you thought you knew about the Braxtons. Don't blink, because once it hits, you'll want to have been here from the very start.